Welcome back, Deadites and Ghost Speeders, and today we're going to talk about Scotty, the most underused and underappreciated of all the warriors. And it's understandable with the fact that Henry is by far the best tank in the game, and AOD still might be the best character in the game, and it makes it very hard sometimes for Scotty to be someone you might want to consider in your roster. And I was going to do this video a little bit earlier actually, but I decided to hold off until the latest update just to make sure that balance bar wasn't changed on demons and that this build was still viable and really destructive, and it is. So we're going to go over it real quick. I'm going to show you how all of his perks tie in with the exact build, and so that way you can make the alpha badass glass cannon stun monster build of Scotty for yourself. If you like this Evil Dead content, please drop a like and a comment on the video below. It really does help, and of course I answer all my comments. Smash the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell for all Evil Dead and horror related content. And if you're looking for people to play with, or just talking about horror related content in general, click on that link below. It's our Discord. We have a thriving Evil Dead and horror based community. Now we're going to hop over here real quick and I'm going to show you what the build looks like, and I'm going to walk you through how to build it yourself. Remember, this build is specifically around two things. One is maximizing amount of damage, and two is barely any survivability. So it's not going to be a very tanky Scotty, it's not going to be a balanced Scotty at all. It's going to be much heavier damage with just a couple of perks to make sure he doesn't get one-shotted. Now, Thunder Thrust did get boosted during the Army of Darkness update, and it went from 100 to 150 damage on his AoE blast. Still not great, but it is a little more viable. Now, his second perk, Collateral Damage, still makes you want to be able to use heavies, but it's going to be much more intermittent than you normally would have prior to the Army of Darkness update. Now, you're still going to get the AoE damage from your heavies, so still use it when you need to or if you're grouped up on, but if you're in solo right now, it's going to be something you're going to kind of ignore completely. Scotty's third perk, Exposure Therapy, is still very good. Any kill reduces fear. So if you're in a situation where you just need to kill a bunch of shit and get yourself feared, he still has that ability. And of course, everything runs through Scotty's fourth ability, which is Weapon Master Lumberjack Axe, where his abilities swing it faster and stronger than everyone else, makes it an amazing ability and the absolute go-to weapon for this build I'm going to show you. Now, you're going to start off with your first perk, obviously in Last Word. It's where it's got to go, but I'm only going to put one in there, and that's all I really need. Now, the reason is I'm not going to be doing a lot of combos and get that heavy melee damage at the end. It's going to be a lot of lights, unless Thunder Thrust is down and we need to clear off some AoE real quick, then we'll switch over to heavies. But for the most part, we're going to focus on lights. In Tier 2, you're going to do 1 point in Artful Dodger just to keep yourself a little bit stam friendly. 4 points in Devastating Force for all of that weapon melee damage, and just 1 point in Tougher Than Hell. Now, you don't need to put a point here if you don't want to. The only other option I would do, if you don't want the Tougher Than Hell point, I like a little bit of survivability, but I can understand why you may want to remove it. And if you do, I'll show you where you should put it then. In Tier 3, you're going to put 1 point in Industrial Strength just to raise their health bar a little bit. You're going to put 3 points in Cutting Blow for all that dismemberment melee damage, and 3 points in Seeing Stars to get all that balance bar damage to the maximum 25%. And the reason is because the lights cause so much balance damage now with the way demons are built, you can just cut right through them. Next up is going to be 1 point into Quicker Cooldown. It's going to roll over the time between Thunder Thrusts. 2 points in Razor's Edge, increasing dismemberment damage of sharp weapons, because let's be honest, you're going to be swinging the Lumberjack Axe if you can. Even a gray one will still benefit greatly from it. 1 point in Blunt Force Trauma. This is a little more helpful early in the game if you haven't found a Lumberjack Axe and say you're using a mace or a sledgehammer at the time. When you get over to Perks 5, you're going to put 1 point in Seasoned Survivor Basic. You're going to put 3 points in Sting Like a Bee. This is the key to this build, is maximizing the full 15% of light damage. And 1 point in Heavy Hitter. You're still going to increase this heavy damage a little bit, just in case. And finally, in Tier 6, 1 point in Seasoned Survivor Boss, 1 point in Seasoned Survivor Elite, just so he takes a little less damage. Now, like I was saying, you can do a couple things. If you decide that you really want to go full glass cannon, remove the point from Tougher Than Hell and place it in Heavy Hitters. That way you still can use heavy damage with a little more oomph if that is something you want to do. Now, as nice as it would be to have Weapon Master two-handed on him, the points you're going to have to waste to go through this is just absolutely not worth it. So I would never do it. And that is where I would go. You could always remove Seasoned Survivor perks if you want to up heavy damage to the maximum. I recommend having a little bit of survivability by reducing these, especially if you're going to take off Tougher Than Hell, which would have been a 3% reduction across the board no matter what you were fighting. And that's it. That is the key to making the most badass Scotty you could possibly do. He doesn't even know how badass he is, but you will as you use him as a complete stun crowd control beast. There you have it. Go ahead and kill some Deadites. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Thanks for watching, and later, mates.